Just like that, we're about 1/4 of the way through the college football season. It's starting to go by quickly, but there have been some really incredible games through the first 3 weeks. Week 3 delivered once again, as there were a number of upsets, close finishes, and games that nobody saw coming. Here are my 10 biggest winners from week 3 of the college football season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'll be posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Let me know in the comment section down below who you thought the biggest winner of the weekend was. With so many games, maybe there was a team I forgot about. I'd love to hear which team impressed you guys the most. We'll start off this video with the Kansas Jayhawks. No, seriously, Kansas has started the season 3-0. This matches their most wins in a season in over a decade. If they win just one more game in 2022, it'll be their most wins in a season since 2009 when they won 5 games. They went on the road to Houston as a 10-point underdog and won by 18 points. Jalen Daniels is emerging as a potential Heisman candidate. For the game, he threw for 160 yards with 3 passing touchdowns, while also rushing for 125 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. This isn't their first impressive win. Last week they went on the road and beat West Virginia by 13. The offense has scored at least 48 points in all 3 of their games to begin the year. This isn't a fluke 3-0. This is a legit 3-0. They received 23 points in the AP poll. Next week, Kansas is favored against a Power 5 opponent for the first time since 2009. Seriously, this is something that is actually happening. I have no idea how, but I love it, and well done Kansas. After getting embarrassed in week 1, Oregon has really bounced back nicely, winning 2 in a row in dominating fashion. They hosted number 12 BYU and completely took care of them from start to finish. They won by 21 points, but the game wasn't even that close for the most part. Bo Nix had one of the best games of his entire career as he threw for 220 yards with 2 passing touchdowns while rushing for 35 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. This offense looked like the Oregon offense from a decade ago. Meanwhile, the defense stepped up big time and completely took out the run game. They allowed the Cougars to rush for only 61 yards on 24 carries. If you take out Oregon's week 1 showing, this has been a very impressive Ducks team. If they can play like they did on Saturday the rest of the way, there's a chance that Oregon can somehow sneak back into the playoff discussion. We'll get another Pac-12 team on here as Washington picked up the impressive 11-point victory over number 11 Michigan State. Michael Penix Jr. threw for 400 yards with 4 passing touchdowns in one of the best games of his career. The Huskies defense held the Spartans' rushing attack to only 42 yards on the ground as they averaged only 1.4 yards a carry. The Spartans couldn't do anything against this stout Washington defense. For the Huskies, they're now ranked and 3-0 on the season. After they went 4-8 last year, it looks as if the Huskies have flipped things around. They haven't won 10+ games in a season since 2018, so it's been a while since we've seen Washington as a threat in the Pac-12. Well, in 2022, maybe they're back. After a heartbreaking week 1 loss, LSU has rattled off back-to-back wins. They picked up an impressive win over Mississippi State, outscoring them 21-3 in the 4th quarter to win by 15 points. LSU could easily be 3-0 on the season had they not fallen to Florida State in week 1. Jaden Daniels was great for the Tigers as he came alive in the second half. He finished the game with 200 passing yards and a touchdown while leading the team with 100 yards on the ground with a rushing score. Malik Neighbors led the team with 6 receptions for 75 yards and just seemed to make a number of huge catches in the 4th quarter. This LSU defense held the high-powered Bulldogs offense to only 3 points in the second half. Will Rogers threw for only 200 yards with a touchdown and an interception. Normally, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the entire country, and LSU pretty much took him out of the game in the second half. I get that beating Nebraska isn't impressive at all, but I really thought Oklahoma looked like a top 5 team in the country this weekend. Their offense looked like the offense we've grown accustomed to seeing over the years as they had 31 first downs with nearly 600 yards of total offense. Dylan Gabriel had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns for the game. Although the offense was unstoppable, it was actually the defense that really grabbed my attention. Outside of that first drive of the game, the Huskers did absolutely nothing against the Sooners. That offense looked like a Division IV program with how good Oklahoma looked on defense. We know that Oklahoma is going to score points, but if this defense can play like they did this weekend, Oklahoma might be a dark horse to be a national championship contender. Penn State wiped the floor with Auburn as they beat them by 30 points. It's been an impressive start to the season for the Nittany Lions as they moved to 3-0 on the season. Sean Clifford was solid as he had only 5 incompletions while throwing for 200 yards. It was the running game that dominated as they racked up 250 yards on the ground with 5 rushing touchdowns. Nicholas Singleton rushed for 125 yards with 2 scores, while Katron Allen rushed for 50 yards with 2 touchdowns. The defense also had themselves quite the day as they forced 4 turnovers. Penn State has been an up-and-down team over the years, but 2022 looks like a season in which they can make a serious run in the Big Ten. In one of the craziest games of the entire weekend, Syracuse shocked Purdue to win by 3. The fourth quarter was crazy as both teams exchanged numerous leads. Ultimately, Syracuse came out with the victory. Garrett Schrader threw for 200 yards with 3 passing touchdowns. He also led the team with 85 yards on the ground. After winning only 11 games over the last 3 seasons, Syracuse is already 3-0 on the season. After going 2-10 last year, Indiana has already won 3 games this season after their win in overtime against Western Kentucky. The Hoosiers trailed for a majority of the game, but they outscored the Hilltoppers 17-6 in the fourth quarter to send it to overtime. Connor Bazelak was fantastic in leading the comeback as he threw for nearly 400 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. Indiana was able to hold the high-powered Western Kentucky offense to only 13 points in the second half and overtime as they stepped up and made a number of huge plays. I don't think Indiana is going to be competing for the Big Ten this season, but the fact they've already won 3 games after winning only 2 last season is certainly fantastic. After a crazy win over Texas A&M last week, Appalachian State managed to surpass that with their insane win over Troy. It looked like the Mountaineers were going to go home with the loss, but a game-winning Hail Mary secured the victory for App State. After hosting College Game Day, the Mountaineers and Troy exchanged a number of leads and went back and forth. It was one of the biggest wins in the history of the program. With these back-to-back wins, there's some serious momentum with Appalachian State. Wrapping up this video with a team that won back on Friday night, Florida State. Don't look now, but the Seminoles are 3-0 on the season. Granted, they've had some pretty close wins, but 3-0 is still very impressive for them. Jordan Travis was having a great game until he left with an injury. Luckily, it looks like he's not going to miss any time. Tate Rodemaker threw for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns on only 6 completions. The defense made big stops when needed as they forced 3 turnovers, including the game-winning interception in the final minute of the game. I'm not sure how legit this Seminoles team is, as they easily could be 1-2, but they found ways to win games in the final seconds. Maybe they can make a quiet run in the ACC this year. Well, those are my 10 winners from this weekend. Which team do you think was the biggest winner overall? Was there a team who really surprised you that should have been on this list? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'll be posting college football videos every day during the season. So if you're a college football fan, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.